everyone, I am so excited for this video on skydiving. So before I jump into this, if you're new to my channel, my name is Emily. I have a moderate to severe hearing loss. I wear hearing aids and I love them. My husband Joel and I just got back from a trip to Hawaii and we had so much fun. Today I'm going to talk about skydiving because as a hard of hearing person with hearing aids, this was something that was concerning to me. And obviously I survived, which is great news. And I want to share my experience today with you. I created Definite Hearing as a way to increase awareness for the deaf and hard of hearing. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great content and I want you to know when it comes out. All right, have you ever been skydiving before? If so, I want to hear in the comments down below. Please don't hesitate to share and please let me know if you have done it, would you do it again? I will share that answer at the end of this video for myself. Like, I've done it, would I do it again? Let's chat about that at the end of the video. All right, so before we even went to Hawaii, I knew that my husband Joel really wanted to go skydiving. I was like, I do not want to go skydiving. I do not. But we don't have kids yet, so if I'm ever going to skydive, it's going to be now before we have kids. Because once we have kids, I am not doing anything that like could be super risky like that. I did not want to go skydiving, even down to the point of like, we were in Hawaii and we were looking at the weather. And there were quite a few days that it was going to rain. And so it was like, if we're going to do this, we've got to do this. So I knew that Joel really wanted to do it. And I knew that it was up to me to decide if we were going to do it, because Joel didn't want to do it without me. I told him I would just stay on the ground and he's like, I really want to do it with you, but I don't want to force you to do it. So I had a moment and I was like, you know what, Joel really wants to do this. I just knew that the skydiving people wouldn't be in business if people were dying frequently of skydiving. So I figured, you know what, I will call them. I will see if we can even get in before the storms start, because it was going to start raining the next few days. And so I called, and sure enough, they had a spot for the next day. And I asked them, I said, you know, I am hard of hearing, and this is a major concern of mine that I am assuming I'll have to take out my hearing aids. And they said yes. And I'm assuming that I won't be able to hear the instructor very well. Have you ever had deaf or hard of hearing people before? And they said, yes. In fact, last week we had a group of 10 deaf people and they signed and it was great and they had a blast. This brought me a lot of comfort because I thought, you know what? Okay, my brothers and sisters did it. I can do this. So I signed myself up. We went. I signed the liability waiver, made it very apparent that like, yes, I have a hearing loss. I'm not going to hide this. Everyone's going to know. We were waiting for a while just due to the fact that they had weather holdups the day before. Some people were coming in, so we had a longer wait, but that was normal. Like, it was really fun to sit there and watch people come in and watch all of the video footage that was being done. For that time, I just had my hearing aids in and just enjoyed talking with Joel and our newfound friends. Okay, so let's talk about feelings that are normal to experience while you're waiting to skydive. Excitement. Worry. I wouldn't say fear, I say worry. Concern. Adrenaline. You feel an adrenaline rush. Oh, it's in my feeling. I feel like that kind of sums it up, but we'll see how it goes. When the time came, my instructor approached me and said, hey, I will be your skydiving instructor and you will jump out of the plane in tandem with me. And I said, great. I told him about my hearing loss and asked him if there was anything I needed to know. He went through just kind of how it works and what positions they use. So for example, how you want to jump out, and when you're in the air, you need to be like, have a backwards banana and all of that. I did not hesitate to ask him any questions I had. And so I got suited up. I sent my hearing aids with Joel to the car and Joel came back. He got suited up. We boarded on the plane. I couldn't hear anything, but I could tell there was a lot of like energy. I could definitely tell there was one girl and one instructor that were like very pumped up next to me. And I just watched out the window as the plane kept climbing. I thought, what am I doing? Like being there in silence. I just like, I couldn't believe I was in a plane. It was too late to say like, I don't want to do this. So I was like, we are just going to do this. This is going to be great. And my instructor, he knew that my left ear was good. So he said a few things just like, hey, don't forget what we talked about. I just rehearsed to him what I remembered and he said it was good. So sure enough, we got to the spot where we needed to jump. They opened the door and people just started jumping up. And so we scooted up and I could hear my instructor well enough because he was loud right next to my bad ear. And so I could hear him just well enough that he said, 1, 2, 3, jump. And we jumped and just fell. I couldn't scream. The pressure, the resistance of like going down, free falling that fast, I couldn't scream. I was just like in shock, just falling. And oh, my ears were hurting so bad because of the pressure changes. Whoa, I'm like even getting an adrenaline rush, like just talking about this. But my favorite part is when the parachute came out. I got to do the Valsalva maneuver and like equalize the pressure between my air drum and my eustachian tube. And it was so peaceful to just float in the parachute down, and the water was gorgeous. The shoreline, the greenery of the Hawaiian mountains. Oh, and the temperature was perfect. It was like this warm, crisp, just like Hawaiian humid air. It was just beautiful. The tropical vibe. It was so peaceful and tranquil. It was amazing. And my instructor did a couple fun like flips and stuff, and by this time I was like loosening up. I'm like, okay, we jumped out of the plane, we'll be okay. And it was great. So it comes time to land, and he just said, keep your feet straight out, keep them straight out. And so when that time came, I was able to just keep them out, and we landed, and it was great. And when we landed, it hit me like, oh my goodness, I just jumped out of a plane. I wanted to just like lay on the ground and be like, I'm done for the whole day. I did everything I need to do. I'm not going anywhere. But like the withdrawals of the adrenaline was like, whoa, I just about got like knocked out. It was so fun. We were with Pacific Skydiving. My instructor was Doug. He was absolutely amazing. He didn't hesitate at all about the fact that I had a hearing loss. He was like, oh yeah, I've done this millions of times. Don't worry. And it was so fun. A+ customer service, A+ time. It was just like, whoa, I could not believe I had just jumped out of a plane. So wild, so wild.
Let's go!
Oh my goodness. We just got back in the car. I have to breathe, guys. I have to breathe. Okay, so just to give you like a little bit of like what happened. So we got in the plane, we had to fly like across the island, and then we came back. So we flew up to 7,000 feet, and we came back to 14,000. Once we hit 14,000, they opened the door on the plane, and people just started going. Joel was further down, so he like just jumped out, and then the next person jumped out, and here we are scooting down. And it is starting to occur to me that we are about to jump out of a plane. I was like, oh my word. So people are getting out, and then this girl, she goes in front of us, she gets out. I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna jump. I just didn't even think about jumping. I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna let Doug take over. And Doug took over, he jumped. We had a full minute of free fall. Like, the pressure was crazy. I was just all about like staying banana shaped, like with my arms out, my legs back the whole time. And then when the parachute went out and I was able to like relax and enjoy it, that was like so relief. Like that was such relief when the parachute came out, because like the free fall was like, we were falling through the clouds. I still am trying to like take it all in. I think I'm gonna have to do a video later of like recalling it, but all I can say is the adrenaline rush was totally there. Falling through the sky, like, oh my goodness. I'm still out of breath. I'm still trying to like calculate what we just did. Woo! When we were parachuting, we did some tricks that made my blood go to my feet, and that felt wild. And then the landing was super smooth. I was so impressed though, because the whole time I didn't have my hearing aids in, and Doug just spoke in my left ear, which is my good ear, and just made it so easy, so great. He just was like super on point, and I didn't feel scared like the whole time. Like, I certainly was having adrenaline rushes and like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. So, whoa! Anyway, whoa. Joel, what did you think?
Adrenaline rush, beautiful sights, well worth the monies, amazing experience. now I see why people don't want to do this, but for they have kids. But it was actually super comfortable and safe. I would do this even with kids. I know you wouldn't like to hear that, but
anyway, so there is my skydiving experience. You can do it if you are deaf or hard of hearing. I don't know why I would think that I couldn't. I just couldn't jump out of the plane with my hearing devices. I would have lost them. Like, there's no question. I just about lost my mask and my goggles. I totally would have lost my hearing aids. Like, there's no question. I'm not jumping with my hearing device. Wow, that was just the ride of a lifetime, and I absolutely loved it. So just remember, if you have a hearing loss or you're deaf, just enjoy life. Just go do it. I was so grateful I did it, but like, thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. Here's the answer to this. Would I do it again? I would not. I would not. I did it once, and that was great, and that was so fun. But like, whoa, I had enough adrenaline to last me a lifetime. I think if I wanted to do it in the first place, I probably would go do it again because it was such a rush. But I'm the kind of person that just likes to stay close to the ground. Just keep me on the ground. And I would say I have been paragliding. We went paragliding in Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland last year. Like I said, the parachute part, the skydiving part was my favorite. Paragliding was so awesome. If you're not quite like the adrenaline junkie, like skydiving type, definitely try paragliding. Wow, that was magical, especially in Lauterbrunnen. If you go to Switzerland, you gotta go to Lauterbrunnen and paraglide. It was amazing. Just paraglide right off of Murin. It was so fantastic. But yes, Hawaii skydiving, do it. Pacific skydiving, that's where we went. I will include a link to Pacific skydiving in the description below. Loved it. Now, caveat, as you see, I have before and after pictures, but not during. It was like $180 to get the video and photo package. You know what? Do I regret not getting that footage? Just a little bit, because I want to show you all how beautiful that shoreline was, and the ocean, and the greenery. But like, without the smells and the feels and the other senses, it's not the same. So you've got to go do it yourself. I hope you get the chance to. It was definitely the chance of a lifetime, and I'm happy I did it. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Please like it and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great content, and I'll see you next time. Mahalo!